All right, presented in the order I shot it. I traveled up to South Carolina for the Zoo City Armory Fall Brawl. Totally walked by a target there. Um, yeah, so this was a pretty straightforward stage. The obvious way to run it was to do a whole bunch of pistol up front and then go do a bunch of rifle. I was a little bit sloppy on rifle. Distances, in case you're wondering, were like 300, 200, 400, 500, 500, 400, 200, and then I think 600 and then 90 or something like that. Anyway, um, yeah, this was a decent stage. It was a little bit rough starting, but there was actually a crosswind, and there wasn't much grass or trees out there to show you that there was a crosswind. A lot of my long range misses were, I guess, blowing off to the left is what I got from the RO after the fact. So yeah, this was my first time at this match and my first time at this range. And while I'll discuss my performance or individual stages separately, I figure I'd say up front, this was a pretty poorly run match. Some fairly objective complaints right up front include that there was no match book, no stage descriptions were sent out before the match, even though the written stage descriptions did exist at the match. For no good reason, they were not provided to competitors. The round count was estimated was hilariously not even close, especially for pistol. And the match organizers hid behind a bullshit excuse that, stage options and optional targets prevented them from accurately estimating. The map sent out for the range was terrible. The signage throughout this large shooting facility was hilariously bad for the match. The rules did not allow for coaching, even for amateurs, with no exceptions for reasons I can't even guess. The rules and penalties didn't mesh up with stage designs in some key areas. I'll cover those later. The range roads were in really poor condition in some areas, and there wasn't any heads up sent out about that. But hey, at least the prizes for top finishers were pretty bad, so at least there's that. All right, stage 10, unfortunately, this is one where I have some stuff to get off my chest. Starts with long-range rifle, and while one of the ROs for this stage, Barb, shout out to Barb, was great, the guy on glass calling hits was a problem. He was prepping shooters for this stage, and he explicitly told some of them on camera, told several of our shooters they had to keep their rifle buttstock inside the box on top of the spool prop while they were shooting or face a procedural. That's important because it's impossible or close to it for some of the shorter shooters on our squad to maintain that position. When confronted about this after the fact, he just hid and let the female shooters who were affected feel like they were being in imposition by demanding a reshoot, with the stage already being like heavy reset. I personally talked to him directly before getting Barb to directly correct him about what he was telling shooters after he'd already been shot their stages. They never tried to make it right. Frankly, that RO was in a bad mood. He was just spreading it around. I actually had to re-record this section because on my first try I was just called them names, which I felt was unprofessional of myself. Anyway, we move on to a forest of like 30 pistol targets. This was a problem for, not necessarily for me, I think they scored it accurately, but this was a problem for the rules of the match not meshing with the stages, and because especially for like newer shooters who had a lot of targets left that they didn't hit, they were assigning FTEs on a lot of targets, and the guy behind you was just kind of trying to guess which targets the newer shooters had shot at and then assigning like tons of FTEs after the fact. This is one where it's like there shouldn't be FTEs, or the targets should be spread out enough where it's very easy and confident for the ROs to be able to make the judgment call for an FTE. So 30 pistol targets in a forest, and they're going to try and say they can tell which ones the new shooters were shooting at and missing. Like, it's cool that they missed, but like, get out of here with that FTE. That's dumb. Then move on to some shotgun here at the end. You had to shoot different colors through different arrays. There was they were explicitly trying to play with your shotgun spread here because there was a possibility for it to like nail one of the wrong ones from the right window, for either case, which is what I did on one of these, and that cost me a whole bunch of points there, but whatever. And then you finish up, just with more shotgun. So I guess one thing I'm trying to stress about this stage is that one of the ROs shouldn't be an RO. And two, the rules for the match didn't mesh well with the stage design, especially with respect to their decision to assign FTEs. I'll shut up now. Anyway, on to stage 6, already in progress here. My stage plan was pretty good, executed pretty well. The one thing I could have done differently and would have saved me a good bit of time was loading 3 slugs in the beginning and taking 3 paper targets off the bat, counting shells, and then engaging birdshot and basically doing everything else that I did in the same sequence. That being said, it was a fine stage. It was a fun little shoot house, and it's kind of fun to be able to shoot in 360 bays. So this one was fine. I don't really have any complaints about it. The ROs were good people. Fun times. Stage 7 here starts out with a bunch of pistol, goes into a little bit of rifle, and the one thing I'll mention for this stage is, like, at the end, the shotgun challenge really was mostly a little bit of time management to make sure you had enough time to do your shotgun there at the end. And you'll see me tapping the back of the slide there. I still have this issue with my handgun. I just haven't figured that one out, or I haven't figured out what I'm going to do to fix it. Shot time management, and then with the shotgun they chose to do more targets for hostage targets, playing with your spread. I didn't love those. I actually ended up, my one penalty on this stage was pegging one of the hostage steals, knocking it off off the stand with like 2 individual pellets of birdshot. And one thing I don't love about hostage targets for birdshot targets is, like, you can do the same thing. The shooter can do the exact same thing twice and get 2 different results. It's not super consistent. I don't know. I don't really get the point of playing with it, especially since it's birdshot, and, like, birdshot has no practical application in anything combat related. So, like, what are you playing with here? Anyway, enough complaints. Moving on. Alright, day 2, starting off with some slug targets, followed by some slug transition to regular birdshot out of my shotgun. The only real comments I have about this stage is I missed an aerial clay, you'll see when it happens, and I was also a little bit slow on the shotgun loading. Really just kind of slow on shotgun in general. Clearly I don't practice it a whole lot, and my performance there shows. But everything else about the stage was pretty fine. I really don't have any comments or complaints about it. It was fine. Oh, actually, I do have one thing to add. You'll notice I found my cowboy hat. Left it behind on the first day. I'm going to credit that with some of my bad shooting on the first day. Dude, you didn't feel like yourself. You know, you're not you when you're hungry. You're not you. You know, you gotta feel good. You gotta feel good to shoot good. Alright, stage 5 was the, for some reason every 3-gun match has to have an all-shotgun jungle run stage. I have my obvious and pretty open feelings about 3-gun shotgun, and its contribution to the decline of 3-gun. But that points aside, my personal feelings aside, this was a fine enough stage. The targets were spaced apart in such a way where there wasn't a whole lot of like arrays. It wasn't like 4 left, 3 right, and then you can plan your loading and stuff around that. The targets were pretty well spaced throughout, so the shooters that weren't in open had a lot of kind of just constant loading and shooting to do. Not necessarily designated single spots to shoot from. And it ends with a few aerial plays, and those are always kind of, pretty standard shotgun jungle run. I did okay on it, not great, considering I don't, I get the opportunity to practice with shotgun very much. Stage 1 was starts off with a whole bunch of pistol on left, right, center, and then you go to some long-range only rifle. And one of the things I'll choose to talk about here is that this match was very inconsistent with what it presented to shooters. And what I'm trying to say is that in the rules, like some stages allowed for a lot of options, where anything that was steel could be taken with pistol or shotgun. Anything that was paper was anything that was safe to shoot with paper, so slugs or pistol or rifle. And they loved to throw those out there as options on so many stages, except for the stages where they felt that it wasn't acceptable to do so. Again, I actually liked this stage. I enjoyed shooting it, but what I'm trying to say is that this stage is a great example of like this match didn't know what to do with its own rules. You see, I actually looked left and right there and then forgot the pistol only target, the pistol only paper straight ahead of me. Anyway, this match, said it was heavy on options for a lot of stages, which is cool, even if it was like a fake option that wasn't actually an option. On paper, you were at least allowed to shoot things in multiple different ways. But except for, this stage is a great example, the times where you weren't allowed to shoot it certain ways. And they just said, no, you had to do it this way because, well, there's no reason. They're just ignoring their own rule set. And that makes it inconsistent to the shooter about like what they have to do or what their ability or what they do on each stage, especially new shooters, which there were several of on our squad. Otherwise, I actually enjoyed shooting the stage. Oh, and shout out, the ROs on this stage were both really good. The guy behind me in particular, great RO. Funny and communicative. Great dude. Alright, I'm not shooting super great, and so this was like the first. That took me 8 stages into this match to finally shoot one clean. Anyway, this stage you mandatory start with pistol, and you eventually get to your rifle, and then you finish up with some shotgun. You had a little bit of options here. You could have chosen to transition to rifle about where I'm standing there, first barrel. But I think the fastest way to run it was the way I did it. Just, faster than what I did. But anyway, the only mandatory rifle on this stage was far away, and it was, I forgot the distances. I haven't been telling you the distances. Almost all the long-range rifle in this match started between 2 and went to about 500 yards. That was true for stage 1, the last one. It's also true for this one. I think it went from 2 to 500 yards, give or take. Fine enough stage. The options were present here again, kind of, but not always present.
Nice. you shoot it.
He goes first.
Once again, my shotgun kind of sucks, and you see me yelling at the targets. All right, last day, first stage, stage 8, starting from the bus. You shoot some rifle targets at 2, and then 350, and then like 455. I don't know what happened here on the rifle. I have it on video in this match with this rifle, doing better than this and some of the other long range ones, and the position felt fine, but I was just missing. So part of that could have been me, part of that could have been environmentals. I wasn't reading very well, which is me again. But yeah, the rifle I struggled with a bit on this stage.
Moving. Motherfucker.
Anyways, after that, you grab the shotgun, do a little bit of shotgun, and then you get to the pistol and do a little bit of pistol run, pistol spinner, and there's some pistol targets at a little bit beyond 50 yards. There's one of them I just gave up on, and I move on, and yeah. Otherwise, this was actually I think this was a good stage. A well-made stage. I just did poorly on it, and yeah, good stage. Fine ROs. Everything here was fine. All right, last stage here. Apparently my best one of the match. Another one. It's the only second stage I shot clean. Clearly I was very sloppy or something or another in all match. Yeah, start with rifle, a bunch of paper, little bit of like, I don't know, 90-yard rifle offhand shots. Probably only like, I think you need to get like 15 or 16 required shots with shotgun before you transition to finish up with pistol. It was a pretty quick stage for most people, and apparently it was my best one of the match, which I thought I just did mediocre on it, but yeah, you never know. You never know. All right, closing thoughts. I went to this match with a bunch of friends, and that actually really helped throughout a lot of the match. We kind of were able to lick each other's wounds. It was pretty well. We were on a squad with actually. Side note, we were on a squad with literally the worst resetters I've ever been with in my entire life. Not our group of friends, but some of the other people on the squad. It was really frustrating. And having friends with you helps keep you, a bit more positive, a bit more moving forward, be happier than you would otherwise. Mentally, you need to stay focused. Some of those stages I did pretty poorly on. It kind of knocked me out of my game. And you need to be able to recover and move on from that. And that's just all part of the mental game. All right, that's all I got. Who stays to the end of these? Go do something else.